What is the point, Boris Johnson popping up in Ukraine and Poland and saying he's got 350 troops on offer?
Well, I think there'll be other things on the agenda as well as the troops. I think there'll be two things that will be sort of on Boris Johnson's lips today when he meets President Duda. I think the first of those will obviously be the sort of, we're set to see as starting today, some sort of military drills take place just over the Polish border in Belarus, in Russia's closest ally, where Russia have sent 30,000 troops. So that will certainly be something that will be on the lips of Boris Johnson. The second thing that I think he'll be wanting to speak to President Duda about is just making sure that eastern NATO flank is prepared for any potential invasion, a sort of contingency plan put in place for any sort of further escalation.
So really, we are talking war games here.
I wouldn't go as far to say as war games. That seems sort of a quite inflammatory thing to say. I would say that it's just making sure that in the event of a Russian invasion or any kind of further escalation, that Poland and Britain, being close allies, are sort of readied.
OK, talk to us a little bit about our Foreign Secretary, Liz Truss. She's arrived in Moscow. She'll be holding a press conference a little bit later on with Sergei Lavrov. Of course, over in the UK, we view him very much as a puppet of President Putin, not really having a great deal of power. What do you think could come from that press conference? And, should we really be focusing our attention to where we're seeing these, I don't know if you don't want to call them war games, but exercises beginning in Belarus and the like today?
Well, obviously, Liz Truss in the last week has spoken in the British Parliament about readying this enormous package of sanctions against the British state. She's talked about not only targeting individuals linked to the Kremlin, but also state companies or companies linked to the Kremlin. That will concern parts of Putin's inner circle who do have sort of links to London. For so long, the British state has kind of just turned its head where illicit Russian money flowing through London is concerned. So this is quite a seminal moment. But I think actually Lavrov and the sort of Russian foreign ministry have said that they don't like this tone that's come from UK officials. Rather, what they would do is they'd rather sit round a negotiation table and they'd like to talk about how they can sort of diplomatically come to this end where there's a guarantee given from the US, NATO, that the Ukraine will not be allowed to join NATO.
Yeah, well, of course they'd like to do that, but they don't get to dictate the outcome for a sovereign nation. So, I mean, it's just nonsense.
Absolutely, but I think we can also understand Russia's concerns here. They feel that they've been betrayed at the end of the Cold War. There was a kind of verbal agreement put in place that NATO wouldn't further expand eastwards. Now, we've seen that has happened. We've seen the Baltic states join NATO, and now, obviously, there are, so to speak, if you want to say sort of Russia's old-fashioned enemy, the US, with troops sort of and military equipment pointing towards Moscow. So you can understand from a Russian perspective why this might be somewhat concerning, and then to see Ukraine potentially join that alliance is something that obviously President Putin and the Kremlin does not want to happen.